All right. That should just about do it. Yeah. All right, so I finally got a host name that's good enough to reproduce this issue, and I'll demonstrate what we're fixing. So if I open Ghostty, this is the production version of Ghostty, I open up a different folder and I make a new split. You'll see that I'm not in the documents folder. If I open a new tab from the window where I'm in my documents folder, still in the home directory. So Ghosty's shell integration is supposed to do this for you. And I think I have a build that's already working. If I open that up, I should probably make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, if I open this up and I go to documents, and now I make a new split, boom, in the documents folder, shell integration working. Same thing if I open a new tab in the right folder. So this is what we're going to be working on tonight. Well, I already fixed this. To be fair, I just need to clean up the pull request. So that's what we're going to do. Starting a little bit later than planned today because of an incident at work that I needed to deal with, but hopefully we'll at least be able to fix the PR in Ghostty. And then maybe take a look at the bug in Oreo from Rocco Rager. See if we can fix that. All right. So what we have is, what was it? Stream handler, is that what it's called? Yeah. And somewhere in here, I made functions to parse a MAC address. Yeah. Right, yes. This, what on earth is going on here? What is this? I have never seen before. What on earth? That didn't look right. Alright then, I guess that's just how things are gonna be for a little bit. Okay, anyway, we have this report pwd function where what we want is to the shell integration passes to Ghostty a file or kitty shell protocol URL. This is going to be something that's either a file, and in my case this would be something like users documents, or the same thing, but it would say kitty shell CWD, and we're going to get past either of these. The terminal is going to parse this and then try to figure out if the host name, I guess this is actually going to be something like that, localhost, or whatever your computer's host name is. The problem is that macOS will sometimes replace this with a MAC address, and when the last portion of the URL contains letters, the URI parser is gonna treat that as a port, and ports can only be numbers, they can't be letters. So this fails. What I've done here in parse URL, I've extracted a URI parser into just a regular function. It tries to do the standard URI parse from Zig's standard library. If the error we got is an invalid port, then we basically try to see if we have a valid MAC address as the host name, and if we do, we construct a new URI with a new information. And what we want to pretty much do is just extract this into its own function, probably in the hostname file or module in this, and then we can test it properly there. I don't know if we actually have, no, we don't have tests in this file, so we have to do it there. So we pretty much want to move these three functions up. These three functions here into the hostname module. So I guess that's probably going to be the first thing we do. Do something like this. Am I back? Oh, nice. Okay. Whatever that kernel task was has passed, so I can scroll it in. I think this also means we can remove buffprint hostname from file URI. We'll probably want to keep the isLocal hostname function, and then basically expose this function. Something like it. So we want to do don't have that. Oh my god, okay. I thought I was using it somewhere. Or I thought it was being used somewhere. I thought we had it here, right? Oh, it's under internal OS. Okay, that's what it is. Internal OS dot hostname. Where's URL? And see. Something like that, and this is fine. I think we're gonna want an explicit error here. I do think buff print hostname from Bayolea. Yeah, right. We have this. I don't think this is required anymore. Because if we get a... Because in parse URL, when we get an invalid port, we're already checking for a MAC address, so we don't need to do this anymore. I don't think so. Or rather, we should include this in the parse URL. That's actually what we should be doing, now that I'm thinking about it. Right. That's actually what we should be doing. Right. Yeah, I guess we can make this internal to the let's see. Yeah, we can make this an internal call in this file. Okay. Or actually, this is actually specifically to get the host name, I guess, not the whole URI. Right. I think the right way to do this would be a little different. So what we want to do is we want to parse the URL and get a URI string. We actually do end up using the path information from it, like right here. So we do need the URI. This is all specifically to get the host name, but I think this should be, we should extract this into a function in the hostname module, something like get hostname, something like this. It's gonna return hostname parsing error, or a constitute, and here in this we basically want to do this thing. And then we want to I think we just do it this way, and then we're gonna need this. We go const hostname from URI. Is that what I called it? Yeah, hostname from URI. Hostname. Get hostname. Something like this. This is already feeling a little bit better. So this basically let's see, hostname from is aware of this function is aware of oopsie how macros sometimes what on earth just happened? I think it switched when my phone dropped on my keyboard. Yeah, it started mirroring. Stop mirroring. There we go. That's what I actually wanted. That was fun. Okay. Well. Anyway. Yeah, this function is aware of how macros will sometimes use a MAC address as its hostname and as a potential port component in the URI. are going to need to have a well-defined error struct here, I think. Fix that a little bit. I think this is okay. It might not be though, because right now.
There's an odd box here.
Actually, I'm realizing this isn't okay. Because when we return from here, the host import buff is going to be stack allocated, and that's going to be an invalid address after we return, so we can't do this. Okay. Bummer, that would have cleaned this up quite a bit, but I guess we'll keep this in as is. It's fine. Means it's a little noisy, but that's fine. We need this to be correct though, and to that end, we need to basically copy all of these tests and repeat them for parse URL. Sort of. I'm gonna test where the Coredump. Something URL. Parse URL. That's what we're doing. Let's see. So this we want to do something do personal computer, whatever. And then we're going to do something like standard testing equals strings. Scheme. The host name should be personal computer. Oh, right. Right. I think that should be fine. fine. Percent encoded. I guess this is gonna be the same thing. Percent encoded. And the same for a kitty protocol thing, which would be the kitty CWD file. Is that what that is? Shell CWD. Shell CWD. Kitty shell CWD. Okay, that's nice. Very similar to here, and we're gonna change all of that to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 0, 1, 2. First names that are addresses. We need 2 sets of tests here. Tests 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2. And we are going to change that. The A, B, C, D, E, F. And these should all pass. They do not. Oh boy. Oh, right. Of course. These are gonna have a port component, and that's fine. That's expected. I guess maybe we should add that to here. Standard testing expect provide a port. No. That's what we're expecting here. Here we're expecting port to be equal to 12 for both of these. And then we're back to nulls on this one, I think. Oh, right. Forgot to remove the port component here. That's what we're expecting. And expected key shelf and file. Interesting. This is probably a bug on my end. Yeah, right. We're gonna want scheme equals we already know it's one of these, because otherwise, I wonder if can we return 2 things out of this? That might be the cleanest way to do this. If we can return, do we have a break thing? Breakpoint. Can we return 2 things out of a block? Would that be a tuple? I don't know. I feel like I've seen this done. Maybe I haven't. Oh, destructuring. Yeah. Can do this. So we can do Euro without scheme, and we can go scheme. And then we can go we'll go URL 027. Actually, we don't want the. No, this probably is 05. And this will be kitty shells. Alright. Something here doesn't like it. And we don't have to do this. Oh, they need to be vars. That's Oh, I guess I'm gonna do a const scheme. Const scheme? No? Oh, right, I'm not using scheme. That's not scheme. Alright, there we go. It's gonna fix it. There we go. Okay, nice. Beautiful. I think we have a pretty decent test here. We have the URL parsing functionality. We've got the tests. I think this is probably fine. Sure, seems good. And split. actually. I had a yeah, there we go. Whole thing to build and open the build version of Ghostty. We can try this. Looks like I might actually be able to look into Oreo. That's gonna be nice. That's going to be very, very nice. I was excited to get to that. We'll succeed it. Documents. Allow. Okay, shell integration still works. Nice, nice. Oops. Yeah, we're gonna go move. Move one person helper to source them. Let's say test to verify. One thing I'm wondering is if the buff print thing has a, and I what do I call this? It's the 10, yeah. Oh, right, we can't actually. I have to try to do this differently. I'm gonna do something like this. Oops. So the host name as MAC address with last component as SO, but this is gonna have to be parse URL. That's going to give us the URI, and this is supposed to give us AB. It does not. Uh-oh. Oh. Why is that? Right. I would expect us to be here, right? But it's trying to print this here. Why? $204. Oh. Interesting. This is where it's failing. It's failing to parse data. Is that because oh it's missing right. Okay, that's a bug. Let's make sure this is actually working first. Yeah. But I think this should be valid too. That's a problem. I'm gonna go test parser scripts. So in this case, we're expecting is that what language is that? I do not read whatever that language is. Do I dare try to translate that on stream? Probably not. Just in case. Hello, there we go. Yep. How's it going? Be Duodan? I apologize if that butchered your nickname. Doing good. Working on a bug in Ghostty. Just cleaning up the pull request. Once that's done, hopefully fixing a bug in an IO library that's fairly new. How about you? How are you doing? Writing random code, as one does late at night. Is the random code for a personal project or just whatever you can think of doing in the moment? this is gonna fail. Currently, I'm a big fan of Zig. Ah, nice. How's that going so far? Any luck getting information out of Discord? I've never tried to do anything with their API. I don't know if it's any good or not. Alright, have a good night. Thanks for checking in. Thank you, I appreciate that. You too. Right, actually, I guess this might make more sense. Or if without schematic is not exciting. I wonder if that just works. Nope, it does not. Host name is not MAC address. Wait, what? Wait, hang on. So if this is true, actually, hang on, if this fails, or, oh shoot, right. That's not how we do this. If the thing is missing, this should have this. Oh, right, but then... Right, making this false. Right. And then this becomes true. I guess maybe this is supposed to be an and. Yeah, it's supposed to be an and. That's probably. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, it was as easy as that. Nice. That's actually pretty fantastic that that just worked. Wow. I think we'll want to probably just. Oh. Yeah. That went pretty well. Okay, nice. And let's make sure things are still working. Nice, still working, still works. Okay, and then we're gonna rebase. Force push. There we go. There we go. Actually, maybe I can go here and then hit me. Oh, oops, not stream handler and go test. Post name. We can go standard testing. Pullback. What is it? Internalize host name. Maybe that's it. Not sure if this works. When I added, when I did this, that didn't work. There's something being referenced in here that makes the tests fail on macOS. So maybe if I only reference the hostname module, it'll work. We'll see. Either way, this is getting close to this is getting close to being ready. This, yeah, yep, something roughly like this. Right, this happens when I try to run these tests. I don't know. I don't know what this is. If I remove that, I think these pass. I think we want to do something like this. Sure. Yeah, okay. I think John Paris is the right person to ping for a review here. Let's see. Shell integration, J-Paris. Yeah. And who was the other person that commented here? J. Colley. That's Linux and JTK. I guess we'll request a review from J-Paris. Okay, I think we're gonna call it on this one and move on to taking a look at a bug in Oreo. I'm gonna delete the set cache here because it gets humongous. Okay, we are going to try this. So, it might actually have been fixed already, I don't actually know. So this is an LS replacement that, yeah, that Rocco Rager made. Yeah, and you can read more about this on his dev blog, where he talks about this. LS with IOU-ring, I don't know what it uses on macOS because IOU-ring is not available there. But this is built on his Oreo library. And it's an asynchronous IO runtime that he's been working on. And this error, I believe, comes out of Oreo. It's doing something wrong. Attempt to use a null value, yeah. So we need to take a look at what's going on here. I'm actually not sure if it's Oreo or if it's LSR now that I'm looking at it. Okay, so I guess this is just a call stack. This is running a task until done. Let me just oops. LSR. There we go. And this is what we're looking at. Main. both cases. So 287. What are you trying to run? Ring.run until done. Okay. That's when opening a directory, and then we're trying to use that. And here, read pass WD. It's trying to get the UID from the iterator. Oh, I wonder if this is. Interesting. I wonder if the UID is just different on macOS. So it goes name first, then something, and then we're expecting the next to be a UID. And that's not always the case. Oh my god, there are so many entries here. What the heck? Everything, every line here should have a UID though. Oh, is this because there's a comment on the top here? Buffered line, split scalar. Start the next line count. I think what we want to do here is if line of standard name starts with U8 line, so it starts with scalar. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe that's what this is? No, not something different. That was a problem, I think. But now we get something different. Error overflow and format 917 parse int. Because it's a U32, but I see negative numbers in here. Does that just work? No. Expected U32. Oh my god. But the user struct, this is probably gonna. Oh no. That goes negative UID. I think that's what's causing the problem. Yep. Okay. This is a problem. Okay. how do I start ABM? I see. I forget the slash command. Message invite creation message. Message Rocco Ridger. Oh, actually we want that on the very giant. You know what? Let's move this to a different window. Now I guess we need to find out if we have a different UID available in the Xander library. UID, UID, there's POSIX. There's CUIDT, I don't. U32. That is not great. I mean, it makes sense for what it is. It's this at the void. I guess that's because, yeah, it's just an API layer. Ugh. Oh, because it's not supported on macOS. Oh, gross. So with Linux, you actually get stuff, and Plan 9 you get stuff. On macOS, you don't get UIDs. Oh, so I guess what we can we do a comp time if here and make this I32 on macOS? Is the question. Because this, I think, is defined as a U32, right? UIDT. It is not. Okay. Linux UIDT. What is this? It is a U32. Okay. So I think we're fine with maybe doing a comp time. We do a comp time if. We've never done any comp time stuff before. Compile time expressions. I guess can we do comp time if and here we want to do something like extend built-in we have an example here how they do it. Native OS, built-in OS tag. Built-in OS tag. Standard target OS. Right, yeah. Okay. So that should be, we should have macOS here somewhere. Yeah, okay, beautiful. Beautiful. We have built-in OS tag equals macOS. Redundant comp time and comp time. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. 2. This is going to be such a pain. Oh, because U32 doesn't fit into an I32. Oh, okay. That's okay, that's okay. I guess we can make this an I33. And it'll just be fine. It'll not be fine. And oh, right, we have to do the same thing. If the line starts with that, I'm assuming this is an overflow. Okay, yeah, probably a similar thing, right? 961. Right. Oh, yeah, and this needs to be a this sucks. Okay. Freaking macOS. If built-in OS tag equals macOS, then make this an I33, else U32. That's what we're gonna have to do for these. And right, and I'm gonna have to change the group too. Built-in OS tag equals macOS I33 else +X GIDT. There we go, that actually fixed it. I am horrified. I don't actually know what I'm feeling right now. But that worked. Okay. Okay, I need to figure out how to use the tangled sh pull request system. Go operator dev song. First use the target branch, next choose paste patch or compare forks. Okay, yeah, nice. So we can just do git dev pcopy and pop that in here. Go fix runtime issue on macOS. Issue with --1 on macOS. Let's go fix crash. Turns out macOS allows does several things that go against the currently built. One, the password file has a the password file has an extensive comment file. So I'm starting with 2 is going to be the macOS and apparently some other operating systems. Wait, that was absolutely the wrong. Shoot. I still have it open. Glad I noticed I was using the wrong link. I also know the music's off. I did notice that, but I'm almost done, so we're just gonna leave that be. I hope this supports Markdown. I have no idea if it does. Allow negative UIDs and GIDs. Still like this. So changes here. One for comments in the password file, and to use I33 instead of and POSIX.UIDT. In the when person is using these and GIDs. Create poll. I should have copied that description. Oh my god. Okay, loading. I guess we'll wait. We'll wait and see. Let's let that cook. That shouldn't be taking that long. Did it work? It did. And it does support Markdown. Fantastic. Diff. It has the diff and everything. Nice. Okay. Beautiful. I should probably make a note of why. Right, okay, this is done. Just probably leave a comment. Choose I33 here, just so have to include a something with content FS check. We're doing something with the Fit into 33. Oops, 33. Let's see what's the work. Build constructs. I-64? Question mark? Don't know. This here. I-33. Really good. Let's try to make a release build of this and see. So if I go, and then I go LSR S icon long. Different colors, but yeah. 501 staff. Oh no. That's incorrect. That is absolutely not correct. We do have a better size thing, in my opinion. Different rounding strategies, but 501 and staff, those are, that's just wrong. I did not notice. That's interesting, to say the least. I wonder why that's happening. Staff isn't even a group? What? What? I'm very confused. Is there even a 501? That's not even a group or UID here. Interesting. Group UID class ID-U. That is the right. On OSS, your primary group's always staff. Interesting. So that's what that is. Huh. That is fascinating. Can you do dash L? Yeah. How does this actually work? This is gonna be a whole different set of issues here. Oh my god. Oh boy. That's fascinating. Huh. macOS. I have no idea what's going on with this. My user is lacking password macOS. There's a hint about this in the password file. Note that this file is consulted directly only when the system is running in a single user mode. At other times, open directory. macOS open directory. UID. What on earth is this? New current UID from 5 plus, I guess. I wonder how you're supposed to actually find this without shelling out. if this is the same on BSDs in general. Where does this come from? This is a macOS man page. Does OpenBSD ID have a thing? Yeah, okay. Get current probably not the same. Okay. Oh, sorry. Fingelio, do you mean in Ghosty? I guess I forgot to update the title. The Ghosty bug is, let's ban this one. Yep. The bug we were dealing with in Ghosty is that, let's see, when you have a let's see, you have shell integration. So when you open a new tab or new split, it's supposed to open in the same directory that you were just in. But on macOS, it sometimes doesn't. I already fixed this. You can take a look at the PR in that link. I just forgot to update the stream title, and I'm about to stop streaming for the night. Now I'm fixing a bug in a different thing, an LS replacement made by a Rocker Rager. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, Ghosty is great. I really like it. I've had this issue before. I actually fixed it, or thought I fixed it in the beta, but I forgot one edge case that I didn't discover until just like a couple weeks ago. And then reproducing the issue is really hard because it depends on you using private Wi-Fi addressing on macOS, and then that turns your hostname into a MAC address, and then the MAC address having a non-numerical port component. Yeah, it's like a privacy thing. It'll rotate your host name so that when you connect to public Wi-Fi addresses, it is harder to track you across different public Wi-Fi networks. That's why macOS does this. It doesn't really break CWD. The problem is that the Zig standard library, when it gives you your host name, it's not going to get the whatever hostname macOS is reporting, which can be a MAC address. It's actually going to get the whatever hostname you chose for the computer. So I don't actually know what that is in my case currently. I have no idea what my hostname is supposed to be. Either way, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Basically, they don't match. So like Ghostty will get something like file, your hostname, and then a path. And then it's gonna check, is this hostname component here, is this the same thing as whatever I get out of the Zig standard library? And on macOS, sometimes they don't match. So we had to fix that. And in other cases, parsing a MAC address, like a MAC address isn't actually a valid host name. So macOS is just doing this unique thing. So the URI parsing from the Zig standard library was failing, causing a different issue in this whole thing with the trying to match the host names. And yeah, so fixed that. Already did it. Now I'm working on another thing. Rocco Rager made an LS replacement. A friend made this. It was not running on macOS. It was because of just some assumptions that are valid on Linux but not on macOS, because BSDs are unique in how they do some things. I got it running, but the utility is not just reporting my UID instead of my actual username, and I don't know how to fix that. That's a whole different thing that is gonna require some deep dives that I don't have time for. Yeah, it's faster than as a, well, on Linux it's going to be faster because it's IOU based. Let me pull up the repo so you can take a look in your own time. It's a pretty cool project. And the benchmarks are here. So LSR is running in microseconds. Other similar programs in milliseconds for like until you get up to thousands of files. And the way LSR manages to be this fast is because it's using IOU-ring, it can batch the syscalls when it's reading files. And save a bunch of time that way. Rocco Rager actually also has a really good devlog on what he was doing with this. It's a pretty cool project. I was actually hoping to switch to this entirely, but and I guess I don't strictly need this to be my username. I know 501 is me, but it would help if this was a little if this was correct. I think it's gonna be a huge lift to actually get that work. Yeah, it would look better. I think it would be a huge lift to do that because I'm gonna copy something over out of my passwords file, because what macOS does differently is it doesn't actually use it doesn't use the passwords file most of the time. It only does that when you're in single user mode, which is like safe mode for macOS, as far as I understand it. Otherwise, it uses something called Open Directory to get your and manage your username and your UID. And I don't know if you can just read from a file. So LSR has an assumption baked in that your username comes from the passwords file, I believe. And because of that, it doesn't get the right name, I think. I actually don't know. I haven't looked at it that far. All right. Either way, I kind of don't have time to look into that tonight. So I'm gonna have to end the stream and go to bed. It is very late and I have to wake up super early. It's all based on comp time. Yes, I can show you. Comp time is real nice in Zig. So in the user structs, you can just do if the you do stuff like this. This if statement here is actually run during compilation, and you can do a bunch of stuff like this. Looks like you're just writing Zig, but when it's doing type stuff, it all happens during comp time. I think isn't this his website? Yeah, I think Math Class has a nice there's two nice articles on Zig comp time. They're not really like entry level comp time stuff, but they're pretty nice. Pretty good articles that go into some of Zig's comp time stuff. I don't actually know if something better comes up if you just Google Zig comp time. I guess Loris's article might be a good one. It's a little dated, but should be mostly fine. Yeah. There have been some really nice articles written on Zig's comp time. It does a lot of really cool stuff. And most of the time it just feels like you're writing Zig. Sometimes you don't even notice you're in comp time, which is really cool. Yes, the OS streams from Loris were pretty cool. They were fun to watch. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna go to sleep now and hope I don't regret staying up so late tomorrow. All right, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.